Okay, I'm a little late. I'm 1 minute late. That's not bad. 1 minute's not it's not bad. I was doing things there. Good morning, everybody. Hope this day finds everybody doing well. I'm doing well. Hopefully, you're doing well, and life goes on. Believe it or not, it is the 17th day of April, 2026. Can I get an amen? A lot of us didn't think we'd be here, but we are. So we must do something with the blessing that blessing of life that we were given this day. Something productive, something for somebody else. Even if it's nothing but calling somebody up you haven't seen in a long time just to say hi. Okay, I'm just saying you know. How about today? Random act of kindness Friday. Okay, RANAK. Okay, random act of kindness today. That's what today is. Okay, random act of kindness. Just do something nice for somebody. Okay, doesn't have to be big. Maybe let somebody go in front of you in the store or something like that. I'm just saying. Just random act of kindness. We need more of that. We need more random act of kindness, random acts of kindness in our society today because I think we'd probably get along a whole lot better. I'm not sure, but it's worth to try anyway. Good morning to you. I'm Kevin Elkins, and this is Decisions. We call it that because everything we do requires us to make one. And even when you don't make one, well, you just made one. So you see, you can't get away from it. Everybody makes decisions. Making the decisions is not the problem. It's what happens after they're made. So when you go make them, I want you to cogitate on them. Okay, I want you to cogitate on your decisions because you always want to try to do your best to make the best one. As you rise and shine this morning, and it's 61 degrees outside. Believe it or not, we got a high today of 91 degrees. Woo, it's going to be hotter. But that's okay. That means I don't have to wear no coat. Okay. For today, there's a 3% chance of precipitation, sunny to partly cloudy skies, a new record high today of 91 degrees. Winds will be light and variable. Tonight, a 6% chance of precipitation, a few passing clouds below 62 degrees, winds light and variable again. And on tomorrow, which is Saturday, of course, it will be 6% chance of rain, partly cloudy, high 87 degrees tomorrow, a little lower. Winds south southwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So that's your weather for the that's your forecast for the because we really never know what the good Lord has planned for the weather. So we're just gonna give you a forecast, which means we're guessing. With the best of our knowledge, we're taking all the information that we have here. The weathermen, they're putting it together based on scientific stuff and all that other stuff, and patterns. Then they come up with a forecast. Okay, so it's a good guess. It's a good guess. Weather is like a good guess based on the humidity, based on the wind, based on okay. You don't even care about that, do you? I'm with you. I don't either. But anyway, that was your forecast for today. Again, as you rise and shine this morning, it is 61 degrees. Uh, and they're paving the streets out here. They got a machine that paves these streets. I mean, it used to take a long time to get a street paved, but they're paving the street I live on. They paving that today. I mean, it made you put all your cars in the backyard and everything like that. But other than that, though, it's a pretty fast process now. It used to be about 12 black men was out there with the big old thing that they use to spread their stuff. Black men with one white guy supervisor. I'm just saying that's just the way it was. That's just the way it was. Now we got a machine out there, and I see black and white folks out there helping the streets. That's good. So I'm good. Progress is good. Progress is good, but they got a machine now to do the streets. So I don't know whoever came up with that idea. It looks like a pretty good system. Doesn't take forever now. We'll just ask you to get your cars off the street. Bam, we coming down there. All this noise being made, but it looks good. I just want to tell you, I don't know whoever came up with this machinery did a great job. Okay, so they can get the streets paved within a couple of days. And I'm telling you, my car likes it. My car, see, I don't have one of those Lexuses or anything like that. So my car, every bump you hit in the road when you're on the cell phone, somebody said, "Did you get an accident? Did you get an accident?" No, no, that's just the way it sounds. I don't have a Lexus. You hear every bump on the road, except when the street get paved, I feel like I'm driving a new car because I don't hear nothing. Nothing. I'm just chilling. Okay. Anyway, let me shut up now and go to our whatever it is that we do this time of morning. Okay, after this, of course, we will go to our daily bread because we need that. We need a word from on high. Good morning there, Dr. Joe, and anybody else is out there looking and laughing. Now, the second hour today is going to be a repeat of last night's interview with KK Middleton. Outstanding. I like this guy. At first I didn't like him, because I didn't like him. I did not like him. I just didn't really know him. I've been to his church once or twice, though. And it was a pretty good sermon, or a pretty good preacher there. But anyway, it was a great. This guy answered questions the way questions ought to be answered. Okay, not with a lot of hyperbole, not with a whole lot of platitudes, but tell me what you think you going to do. That's what I wanted to know. Anyway, we'll be back with all that later on. Okay, so hang loose. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back. Okay, hang loose. Hang loose. Where my song? Can somebody get the show ready? There we go.
We changed the world and history right here where we're from. It's new beginnings for you and me, 'cause we're not done. In our city, in our city, in our city, we're not done.
Ooh, what happened? What happened? Where did it go? Where did it go? And of course, next up, of course, is our daily bread, a word from on high, something that will change your perspective. I'll give you a new one. But either way, it's good for the soul. Now, let me see if I can find it right quick, and I'll be all right. Oh, there we go. Right there. We'll be back.
In a gentle breeze, grateful heart with such sweet ease. Thank you, Lord, for every breath I take, for the love that heals.
And some days we really need this word, don't they? I'll be back in a minute.
In the tapestry of life, I see your grace. Every moment filled with your warm embrace.
Welcome to this Tuesday edition of the Our Daily Bread devotional. I'm Elisa Morgan, and I want to encourage you with this meditation I wrote titled, Our Father's Care. Thwack! I looked up and craned my ear toward the sound. Spotting a smudge on the window pane, I peered out onto the deck and discovered the still beating body of a bird. My heart hurt. I longed to help the fragile, feathered being. In Matthew chapter 10, Jesus described his Father's care for sparrows in order to comfort the disciples as he warned of upcoming dangers. He offered instructions to the 12 as he gave them authority to drive out impure spirits and to heal every disease and sickness in verse 1. The power to do such deeds might have seemed grand to the disciples, as many would oppose them. They would face opposition from governing authorities, their own families, and the ensnaring grip of the evil one, verses 16 to 28. Then, in chapter 10, verses 29 to 31, Jesus told them not to fear whatever they faced, because they would never be out of their Father's care. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? He asked. Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. I checked on the bird throughout the day, and each time finding it alive but unmoved. Then, late into the evening, it was gone. I prayed it had survived. Surely if I cared this much about the bird, God cared even more. Imagine how much he cares for you and me. Today's Our Daily Bread devotional scripture reading is from Matthew chapter 10, verses 16 through 20 and 26 to 31. I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. Be on your guard. You will be handed over to the local councils and be flogged in the synagogues. On my account, you will be brought before governors and kings as witnesses to them and to the Gentiles. But when they arrest you, do not worry about what to say or how to say it. At that time, you will be given what to say, for it will not be you speaking, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. And now I'll read verses 26 to 31. So do not be afraid of them, for there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the daylight. What is whispered in your ear, proclaim from the roofs. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny, and yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care? And even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. Let's pray. Dear Father, thank you for always watching over us and caring for us. Thank you, Lord, that we matter more than many sparrows. In Jesus' name, amen. Today's encouragement was provided by Our Daily Bread Ministries.
righty then. That's enough. That's enough. We got it. We got it. Okay, we got it. Yeah, we do. But I got it. I'm going to forego my normal thing on my last day of work because we got things to talk about. We got things to talk about, and I don't have time to. And so I'll run that next week. But I have been thinking of changing my day off to go back to Fridays that way because there are a lot of things that happen over the weekend, and then by the time I get here on Tuesday, I mean y'all through talking about it, you know. So we I think we're gonna start in the first of the month. We're gonna go back to Friday. So you know what I mean. I think it's probably better. Anyway, well, good morning. Hope this day finds everybody well. Again, next hour we are going to I don't normally work at nighttime. Well, if you call this work, I don't normally work at nighttime, but I did yesterday afternoon, with a great interview with KK Militant. Now, somebody says another racist. Now listen, okay. Now let's not pretend. I'm just saying, if you were born here in Montgomery, Alabama, born down south, you know the trauma of the past. I got it now. It affects a lot of people down here. Now it don't affect me because you know, hey, listen, I'm from one of the most racist places in the Midwest that you can possibly be from. But so don't bother me. I'd never let it bother me that much, you know. Maybe because I was 17 when I left home and I was in the military to my 30s, so I didn't I didn't really have to deal with a lot of that. I mean, well, I did deal with a lot, but it didn't bother me that much. I dealt with just a little bit. I mean, you know, so because we used to have to go to these classes in the army. What were those classes called? I think they were called human relations classes or something like that. Like that really helped. You know, it didn't, but that's okay. I still heard the N word here and there. You know, but no big deal. No big deal. You know, Mama said, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." And you know what? I believe she was right. Now, see, the Greg says another racist. Greg, the Greg, I like that word, the Greg. Tell me something. What is a racist? I mean, what is a? If people have been affected by certain treatments down here in the South. Okay, listen. Tell me what a race. I just it's a word. It's a platitude. It's a word that is way overused. Okay, and we keep trying to redefine what the word racist is every 5 or 6 years. Okay, it used to be back in the old days, a racist was somebody who thought they were superior to you for no other reason because of their color. Now it has taken hey Sergeant Major, it has taken on many different definitions since then. Um, if I disagree with you, well hell, you must be a racist. If I say something you don't like, you must be a racist. If I like a Corvette and you like a Chevrolet, well, you must be a racist because you drive that Corvette. Okay, because you live in Wind Lakes, you must be a racist. So I'm trying to figure out when you guys use that word all the time. Please tell me what it means. Now I can understand the difference between racism and discrimination and bigotry. We are all bigots. We are all bigots. So let's get that out front. Okay, and bigot means intolerable to something. You just not you won't tolerate something. You just won't do it. Okay, so you're not. So y'all need me on the airways down here to clarify these terms of endearment or lack thereof between people because I think I think there's some black folks in Montgomery right now in their pocket. Okay, there's a white flag that symbolizes you're racist. And every time things don't go their way, and that's on both, and that's getting to be on both sides now. They pull out the card. Okay, it's a card, excuse me, not a flag, but a card. They pull out the card, and the card means you're a racist. Now, again, they can't really tell me what it is, but whatever it is, you it. Okay, okay, okay. I just don't, I don't, I just don't. Hey, can we leave the card in the back pocket till there really is a case of racism? When somebody thinks they're superior to you because I mean, and some of these dumb things on the internet, like they got this guy who goes to the bank, one of their biggest depositors, and Darman, I think the guy's name, and he goes to the bank, and the woman says, he's their biggest depositor. And the woman said, I need to see your ID. My ID. Yeah, because and then he shows her the ID, and then she says, well, that's a fake ID. So trying to demonstrate racism. Is there anybody in their right mind who works for a bank, who works there, that doesn't know who their biggest customer is? Okay. And it's always a white woman sat behind a chair and a black guy, supposedly with money. There's always in these stupid commercials. And it just perpetuates the stereotype of what they want to redefine racism as. Okay. That's why I'm with Freeman. What's Freeman's first name? The actor. What is his name? Freeman. Morgan. I want Morgan Freeman. Stop talking about it. Let's just stop talking about it. Stop using it for everything. Yeah, if you don't like me, say I don't like you. I just don't like you, because I just don't like you. I got nothing to do with your color. I just don't like you. I'm good with that. I can live with that. You don't like me. That's cool. Can we please put put up the racism word? Okay, unless it really is racism, and then everybody's going to know it. But can we put that card back in the pocket until we really need it? Because right now you're wearing it out, and it's becoming a platitude that really doesn't mean anything anymore. Now, okay then, Simply Days, what's up?
Good morning. Can we also put up that you are a sexual predator card? Because they play that card too, except when they get caught. And just like the old boy from California, the one that was going to run for governor, he was one of the main ones grilling Kavanaugh about his Friday night high school party.
Yes.
And he was knee deep in it.
Well, my only problem with this whole sexual predator thing, a man in America is becoming an endangered species, because a woman can come back 30 years later and say he touched me or he did this. No proof, no nothing. And the guy's reputation is ruined. You can, even with the possibility of going to jail, is there no statute of limitations on these accusations, or can a woman just bring it up any time they want to and lie out their ass on that? Look at Kavanaugh. The woman couldn't even remember where it happened at.
In the news media was identifying him as a rapist and a serial rapist based on what? And look at old Matt Lauer, the old NBC host he was teeing off on Trump. He was teeing off on him, and then he was knee deep into it and had to leave. But see, they all know what's going on, and they all turn their head, hold their nose, because they're following the company plan. But when they don't, or it gets too hot, then they turn on them. But they're a bunch of hypocrites. But hey, you brought up the bank deal just a minute ago.
Yes.
I think our county commissioner let the old cat out of the bag yesterday. Did you pick up on it when he said the problem started when the county turned the money over to the city and the city turned the money over to what bank?
I believe it was Hope Bank.
Hope Bank.
Yeah.
If you look up Hope Bank,
I think
and
it's
they
credit
said they
union.
couldn't
I think it's
handle it.
credit. Yeah, I think it's a credit union now, not a bank.
Well, I think it's a bank, but anyway, we'll see about that later. But anyway, if you look at their rating with the Better Business Bureau, they're a B minus.
That's
Why,
not too.
why
That's
wouldn't
not too bad, is it? I mean, B minus. I mean,
well, yeah, but you got Regions Bank with an A plus.
well, now,
You
but now,
got
right? But let's be fair here. I hate to go back here, but Regions Bank has been around so long until they ought to be. I mean, listen, after 30, 40 years, they ought to be. They ought to be A. I mean, this is a new bank, and they just trying.
yeah, and you got PNC, but you gonna turn taxpayers' money, or not your money,
Mm-hmm.
not your money, but and you're supposed to be a good fiduciary of the taxpayer's dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So before you turn that amount of money over to a bank, don't you want the best banks you can get? Don't you want to have a long history?
Now,
I would.
me too. But on the other hand, now let's be fair. On the other hand, the reason why AmSouth, Regions Bank, and all the rest of these people were doing good is because the city, the state were helping prop them up with deposits. And so, who's going to help the small bank get there if the city doesn't put some trust in them and let them get a piece of that pie?
Well, give them a little piece of the pie. Don't give them a big chunk of the pie to see if they can handle it, which they couldn't. But see, usually how this goes, and I'm telling you, Mayor,
Yes.
I know this from experience.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they pick the bank, they've got a relationship. Somebody's a friend or a relative or a daughter or a son. They've got a relationship with somebody on that board or somebody with that bank. It's not about how they perform. And if you look at the customer ratings on that bank, Hope Bank, they're not very good.
Again, though,
all I'm saying is,
again,
if
they're
you want to
new.
do that,
They're new, and there's always going to be some growing pains with anything that's new. But I mean, I would imagine that that AmSouth and Regions and all those banks, when they first started, I would imagine that they didn't get it all right to begin with either.
well, I want to try. If you turned your money over to me and said, "Will you invest it for me? Will you make sure it's going?" I wouldn't have picked Hope Bank.
Mm-hmm.
I would do my homework and find out who's got an A plus rating, because I want to take care of Kevin's money, and I don't want anything to happen where they come back and say, "Well, we couldn't handle your money, and while we were handling it, you lost interest on it." But anyway, that's just me.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, that's the way. But again, if we all started out as babies, we were pooping in our diapers. I'm just saying, sometimes you got to let people grow up, let them, But I hear you. I don't want to lose all my money by you growing. I'm with you. I feel that. I know what you mean. But
but I don't want to be stupid with Kevin's money, and stupid costs you money.
Well,
and
it does.
If you've got three banks in front of you, and I'm going to invest Kevin's money, which bank am I going to go with? The one that's got the highest rating, the one that's got a middle rating, or the one that's got a low rating? And based on Better Business Bureau reports, based on the consumers using that, I'm going to go with that information, and I'm going to take care of Kevin's money because Kevin's my friend.
Well, and I understand that, but now, Simpler Days, let me ask you a question here. And I don't, being from Indiana, I didn't have to put up with some of the blatant discrimination that people down here put up with. Would you agree with the statement if I said it? A lot of people of color are behind down here because they were never given a fair shot. Their parents were never given a fair shot to do anything except clean up, cook, and stuff like that. Okay, I'm just would that be an accurate statement from early from the good old days of down south here?
I agree with you 1,000%.
Okay, so how do
When
we?
I was a little boy,
Hmm.
6 or 7 years old, the first church I went to was downtown, and I saw these men standing out in front of the door. And I asked my mother,
Hmm.
I said, "What are those men standing out in front?" She said, "Those are supposed to keep the black folks out."
Hmm. So my question is, if you start me on the 50-yard line, and well, and I'm on the 1 yard line, and the other in Alabama gets to start on the 50-yard line. Even if I keep up with, even if I never lose my position, I'm still behind. And I guess, and I hear you. We have a fiduciary responsibility to take care of people's assets, and that's true. Because I don't have much money in the bank, but the little bit I got, I need to know that it's there. I'm totally agree with you. But if nobody ever gets the chance to do it, and I think that's what Stephen Reed is trying to do. We may not like the methodology or his pronouncement of it, but you know what? There's some fairness attached to that, and we always talk about we're a fair country. There's some fairness attached to that, not irresponsibility. But if that's the only reason, my rating may not be as good as AmSoft or Regions or PNC, but you know what? I'm doing the best I can. We're new. We're trying. I mean, how am I ever supposed?
But see, but doing that, now you've caused this log jam with this
Mhm.
system of trying to disperse these funds because you tried to help somebody out, be a friend, and you can't do that when you're dealing with the taxpayers' money. And you can't, just like if you got a building and you want it, you got a building, you want to start a business in it,
Mhm.
but it needs to be remodeled.
Mhm.
And you got exactly what you need to do. You got the plans, and you go contact a contractor and you tell him, "Here's what I need done, and how much is it going to cost me?" And he gives you a price. So now, why do you need to bring in a consultant to consult you? Why do you need? And that's what government does. That's just like with the police department. They don't need a consultant from Mobile, an advisor. You got a chief of police. That's what you hire him.
Mm.
The former mayor, Strange, started that when he had a relationship with Bob Riley, and he wanted to pay that debt back to him. So he takes on Christopher J. Murphy from the state, and all these are white guys. Took him on from the state because the state couldn't stand him. And I talked to Hugh McCall about it, head of the troopers. They couldn't stand him. But Strange takes him on as his public safety director to advise the chief, and we know what happened with that. See, that's what happens when government interjects these, and they got to pay a debt to somebody. They got a friend that works for, and so they hire a consultant. It eats up the taxpayers' money. But you don't need a consultant with your. He didn't need a consultant with his checking account, but he does with the cities. And see, that's what there's plenty of people in Montgomery
Hmm.
that have master's degrees in criminal justice and have a long history. But he goes to Mobile and gets this cat that really didn't want to be here because he wanted to run for mayor. But this is it is cronyism at its best.
Mm.
It's bureaucracy at its best, Mayor.
Mm.
And you can paint it any way you want to paint it, but it's playing with the taxpayers' money, trying to
Mm-hmm.
help somebody.
But let me ask you something, and I'm just listen. I don't play the race card, but I will say one thing. Black folks in Montgomery were taxpayers too. They never had the benefit of their money coming back in the day. How do we reconcile that? Yeah, okay, without playing with people's money, putting it at risk, how do we reconcile the denials back in the day, especially down here in the South? How do we reconcile that? Or do we just say, well, that's just the way it went, and that is just the way it went? But will we ever reconcile? And until people feel as though they have been treated fairly, that card's going to always be in the back pocket. How do we reconcile that?
Well, maybe. I mean, two kids born at Baptist Hospital today. One's black, one's white, one is Hispanic. Do they all have an equal opportunity
Hmm.
to excel? Or you can go back to, the Indians. You can go back to, and we can keep on going back. And how are we going to? I don't know. I don't know.
Mm, mm. I
But
hear you because
all I know is
you can't live that.
all I know is that I live in a neighborhood. It's a very mixed neighborhood. It is very diverse, and we all get along with each other.
Right, and I do too. I mean, I don't have a problem. But I am saying my mother, who would be, let's see, 68, 88, 89, she'd be 90 years old if she were alive. She never got the opportunity to fulfill her dreams being born in Jackson, Mississippi, and denied the access, which means that she in turn couldn't leave anything for us. She didn't have anything to leave, even though working her butt off for years and years and years and years. A lot of people did. I don't know how we ever reconcile with the kids of those people. Um, my kids now. Listen, I just stepped on it coming up. I was just thinking about me. I guess I'm just trying to figure out how we because I mean, obviously, there's a group of people in this country that were treated unfairly and put at the end of everything. And I realized that it wasn't you, wasn't me, it wasn't your generation, wasn't my generation. I guess I'm just trying to figure out how do we reconcile that? How do we do that? Because a lot of the money that's in people's pockets in this city came because they never paid their people who work for them hardly any money. Okay, so how do we
Well,
reconcile that?
well,
Or is it just something that we just got to say, hey, it happened, and hopefully it'll never happen again?
well, I don't have the answer, and I mean, how do you compensate uh, poor people
Mhm.
of all different races that didn't get a chance, didn't get an opportunity
Well,
because of their social status?
and that's a
You know,
and that's all right. That's
and
another
and
question. Maybe you don't.
and and so many of the decisions that were made about Alabama, were made up at the Capital City Club when it was open, over at the Montgomery Country Club. And if you were poor and you were white, you couldn't get in either one of those places.
Mm, mm. Okay. Again,
So
I just thought I'd ask the question. I mean, it is
th-
not that a lot of people were lazy, didn't want to do anything. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, it was there. Possibly could have been one of the greatest financial institutions in the world. But one sad day, a lot of people came through there and burned their city down. I mean, just how do you? Uh, I, I don't think you can.
well, we're building. Um, we're building museums, we're building libraries here in Montgomery, so people won't forget it. It won't be forgotten.
Yeah,
And
but that don't help you.
so,
I mean, it won't be
no,
forgotten.
it doesn't help you.
But they could take that money and give it to some people, let them get that. Like this whole small business thing going on now. Well, the government sent money here for small businesses in Montgomery, and in Montgomery, predominantly black. You would think that they would have an opportunity, but now we can't figure. Now the only people getting money are the people who are supposed to be dispersing the money. We
And they sent the money to the wrong bank that couldn't handle the project. It was too big for them. And it started a log jam. And now here we are, right back to the beginning of the conversation.
yeah,
Have a
and
good day, Mayor.
yeah, and half the money. Wait, half the money is gone. I don't get that. Half the money is gone, but now one person has gotten a check. Only one person has gotten a check for $20,000. Yeah, Don.
What do we need to reconcile?
The past wrongs that stopped
What
people.
past wrong was that?
I think you from the South. You know what it was.
No, I don't know, because you keep bringing up your mother. You think your mother had a bit worse than my mother?
I don't know, but
My
I know
mother dropped out of school at fourth grade and worked on the farm picking cotton. Then she worked at a sweatshop downtown Montgomery.
and a lot of people
She
did that.
never saw her dream. She didn't have a damn dime when she died. I had to pay for her funeral and my father's funeral.
Yeah.
I'm so sick and tired of this BS reconcile. Go ahead, tell me what you have. How should we reconcile?
But your mother.
How should we reconcile crap?
Can I?
I think we reconcile it right now. I live in a black city where nobody gives a shit about a white person.
Well,
I hear somebody talk about people that look like us all the damn time. I see people robbing and stealing all over the damn place.
Can you let me answer the question? Okay, let me answer the question. Okay, your mother did not get punished because of the color of her skin. Now, there are a lot of people. As a matter of fact, truth be told, there are a hell of a lot more poor people in America, or there are a hell of a lot more poor white people in America than there are black. Absolutely. Absolutely. The problem is that my mother and a lot of black mothers were didn't even give a chance, wasn't even given a chance to try. You know what I'm saying? And my mother took that attitude with her to Indiana. And when we'd walk past Notre Dame, she'd say, well, that's their school. Because she was brought up with this is ours and this is theirs. Ours is ours. We're not supposed to be part of theirs. That mentality was pervasive in people who are almost in their 90s now, late 80s, in the city. I just asked the question, maybe it's something that can never be reconciled. Not for me, because I will tell you, I have been given the utmost of opportunities. Stepped on a few of them a couple of times, was stupid about some. So I don't blame anybody from where I am but me. No white person is responsible for me not knowing to put money in a 401k for 20-something years accumulate. I thought it was for rich people. I thought it was for people in management. But that's because of my ignorance. So nobody's responsible for me. But I will say, those people in their 90s now, late 80s now, yeah, they were screwed, glued, and tattooed if they happen to be black down south. They just were. Okay. And it's not, your mother told you the same thing about Alabama State University. Come on, man. What? There was no prohibition on, was there ever a prohibition at Alabama State that white folks couldn't come? I don't think so. We know the University of Alabama, University of Arkansas, and every other predominantly white university did not allow black folks in, not because they wasn't smart enough, because they thought they were too good. But I don't know. I don't know. And Dr. Joe says Hope Bank was built by the Koreans. Is that that can't be true? But I don't know. I thought it was Liberty Bank at first, which was a black bank, and then folded into Hope Credit Union. I thought that's what it was. But Google Hope Bank. Anyway, listen, I ain't mad at you, Don. Listen, I agree with you. There have been lots of white folks who've been poor, who didn't get a shot. And you go to Appalachians, mountain places like, yeah, absolutely. Again, there's a lot more. There are a hell of a lot more poor white folks than black folks. Only by if not before, numerically anyway. I got that. But they wasn't turned down because of color, were they? And there's always going to be poor people regardless where we are. So I got that part. I just asked a question. And so maybe the answer is never. The answer is never. It won't ever be reconciled. It was what it was. There's nothing we can do about it. That's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. It's one of those things. And I will say this much. There's never been a society in the world that did not have a group of people who were treated unfairly. There never has been one. And there never will be one. Okay, they got the upper class in Korea. Believe it or not, even in Russia, they got upper class up there. They got in the Middle East, they got the upper class up there and the lower class. So there's not a, even in the jungle, there's an upper class and there's a lower class. The lion is the upper class. Okay, even though the lion's a hell of a lot smaller than an elephant, the lion when the lion walks around, the elephant gets scared of him. Okay, and I guess it's about attitude. I just don't. Man, I don't know. But I just thought I'd ask a question. That was all, because we do use that card quite a bit. We use the race card quite a bit on both sides, not just one side. Um, but let's not act like, now. Again, I'm just asking a question, and I'm as neutral I'm as in the middle as you could possibly be. I get ran over by both sides, but cars coming and cars going, I get hit either way. But let's not act like there's some situations that we in that didn't start with us, the generation. Now, I think if you're in your 80s and 90s, early, I think that you black, I think this country owes you something. Yeah, I do. I think this country owes you something. What that's, I think if we gave the Japanese $20,000 a piece for what we did to them, at least we can. It's more of us than it was them. At least I think the Social Security Department should pay these people at least $15,000 for these older people in their 80s who were screwed, glued, and tattooed. Okay, especially black folks. I just think they owe them a check. But like Martin Luther King says, a check won't do any good if there ain't no money in the bank. And so all we're going and he said, we got what black folks got in America was a check with insufficient funds. And that's true. My mom, the age, people my mom's age, the people my father's age, even though I didn't know that son of a gun, but I'm pretty sure he called hell in this country too. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. That's the way it was, I guess. Anyway, don't forget our sponsor of our show today, this morning, and that would be One Stop Wireless and Bill Payment Center, located at 3445 Atlanta Highway in Montgomery, right on the corner of Atlanta Highway and Coliseum Boulevard. Should you need a cell phone, if you have cell phones in your house, okay, if you have cell phones in your house that been there forever, you don't know who they were with, doesn't make any difference. You can take that phone down to these guys and they can turn that phone on for you. They got services down there for $25 a month, $30 a month. And I talked to somebody yesterday who are still on plans with the big company for $100 and something a month, not for the phone, just for internet. Because they live that is, I don't understand how people get away with that. Evidently, they signed a contract a long time ago, and they've been paying and paying and paying. Forget that. You can get unlimited text, unlimited internet for $25 a month on the low end, and $35 a month on the high end, depending on which phone you have. But it's not this. Well, you pay as you play. No. Go down and see this guy. If you one of them people, and my understanding, Spectrum, when you get a phone from them, you really get screwed, glued, and tattooed. But anyway, One Stop Wireless and Bill Payment Center. If you got to pay your light bill, you got to pay your gas bill, you got to pay your bill down there, you can do that down there also. Okay, they're located 3445 Atlanta Highway, right on the corner of Atlanta Highway and Coliseum Boulevard. That number is 320-2988. 320-2988. Please go down and see him. Tell me you heard about him here, and I'd appreciate that. Okay, because brother got to eat. Okay, if you want to give me a call, if you totally disagree with what I'm saying this morning, please pick up the phone. 334-521-2963. And again, I'm not a overly educated man. I'm somewhat of they got a word didactic, pretty much self-taught in some of the higher realm of education. Some I believe in, some of that crap I don't believe at all in. But and I try to base my decision processing, my decision making process on my two favorite words, logic and reason. If it makes sense, let's do it. If it doesn't make sense, let's not do it. We have forgotten the art of critical thinking. Okay, we have forgotten it. Now, I do have this one thing that's coming up. Now, I'm gonna have the show might be interrupted a little bit here because this other thing's supposed to start at supposed to start at um, uh, 8 o'clock, and so I put it on an automation thing here. So I'm gonna see if it starts, and if it doesn't start, I'll keep going. But it was a good. I may have to shut down and come back with this thing. I'm gonna see how it goes at 8 o'clock because it's such a great interview with KK Middleton that you guys need to see this. Okay, you really need to see this. I did it last night, yesterday afternoon when everybody was getting off. Okay, man, don't wear me out. Though. What?
Hey, should I get the reparations from the Negro that murdered my grandfather?
If you can find out who
Should
did
that be
it,
passed down?
listen. If you can find out who did it,
Hey, should it just be any Negro?
if you
A
can
lot of
find out,
Negroes didn't come from Africa on a slave ship.
well,
Just all Negroes?
again, listen. I know we're never gonna get no reparation, but I do think older black folks in America
No,
deserve.
they ain't owed nothing.
They are the they
They
owe.
have welfare and everything. This
Uh,
country's done everything. Look at the black school. I bet you damn Camilla never paid a damn dime for her education.
Well,
I bet she had Pell Grants and everything else. Ask her.
I got you. I got you. But they do owe black folks something in this country. I said anybody that's over 75 years old in this country is black. Is owed something. What that is, I'm not exactly sure. But they were screwed, glued, and tattooed. I just and if we say they were not, then you're just lying, and you are not in touch with reality. Okay, I'm just telling you that's not a truism. Now let me see if I can. Okay, let me see if I can find this thing out right quick. Y'all hold up with me for a second here. Let me see if I can find my second part of the show today because that was it was interesting. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Okay, so it's 8 o'clock. Um, let me see. Has it started? Okay, I don't think it started yet. So hang loose right quick, and I'll be right back in uno momento. Okay, so don't go no place. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Okay, let's see. Mm-hmm. Because I wanted you guys I want you guys to see this because it really is a nice a nice piece with me and KK Middleton last night. And so y'all hang loose. I'll be back, well, in a couple minutes as soon as I can figure this out. Okay. So, because I set it to automatically play, but I don't know if it's automatically playing. I've never done this before with this program. So I'm trying to see what's going on. Okay. So y'all just hang loose there for a minute and I'll be right back. So don't go nowhere. Don't go. I'll be back in a minute. Trying to find out. Okay, let me see. Hang loose. We'll be back. Okay, it looked like it's not going to work the way I wanted it to, so I have to do it after this hour. So stay tuned at 9 o'clock hour for KK Middleton's interview yesterday, and it was pretty good. He's actually a pretty good candidate, actually. I mean, not many. Let me turn this thing off here. Not many candidates impressed me whatsoever. But he did. He really did. He's a man of not a whole lot of words, but the words he speak, you know what, it's pretty good. I can blame. So in the 9 o'clock hour, we are going to play that interview for you guys. So you guys, it'll probably be about 9:30 before I get it to play, and we're going to do that. So let you guys listen to what it, and it's going to be on Facebook and YouTube and other things like that. I thought you could run it right here, but at least I don't know if you can or not. Actually, to tell you the truth, I've never did it before, but I'm gonna get it back on today. So, um, your boy Donnie beefing with the Catholic Church. I don't care. I don't blame him. The Pope ought to mind his own business. You know, I don't got no problem. I'm not Catholic. I mean, I respect them, but listen. The Pope put on his drawers the same way everybody else puts theirs on. He need to stay in his lane. You know, I mean, he's being guarded by a whole bunch of people. Okay, so let's not don't act like we don't act like we can't defend ourselves. So I don't. I don't problem with. I ain't got no problem with Trump arguing with the Pope. Don't bother me at all. Not even a little bit. You know, the Pope's a man like everybody else. He's not Jesus Christ. Like they say, Pope. They say that Trump act like he was Jesus Christ. Well, don't let the Pope act like he is. No, he's a man like every other man. You know, I mean, the Catholic people put a lot of respect into the brother, and I appreciate that. But when you start getting out your lane, then somebody got to put you back. Okay, I'm just saying. Don't bother me at all. Not even a little bit. Okay, no, don't bother me at all. Okay, then let me see now. That's still. Let me see that right there. Share that window right there, and there we got that. And I don't know why Don is always so upset with black people. I don't know why. I ain't mad at him, but Don, you got some issues, my friend. You know, I mean, all black folks ain't bad. We ain't trying to rob you. We didn't do nothing to you. I didn't do nothing to you. I don't even know where you live. I don't see you going down the street and don't like you because you're white. Some of my best friends are white. I got no problem with that. Matter of fact, I got more white friends than I got black friends. To tell you the truth, because I think more on the conservative thinking than I do on the liberal thinking of the left leaning thing. I don't agree with all that crap. Okay, Trump trying to silence everyone that goes against what he does. Well, what's wrong with that? And the Pope got his freedom of speech too. And so, but here's the problem with freedom of speech. You have a right to say what you want to, and I have a right to say what I want to about what you said. So it goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? It goes both ways. You don't just get to run off at the mouth and have somebody not challenge you. And that's Trump too. Trump don't like it sometimes either. Sorry about that, big boy. You know you're the president of the United States, but when you say things, people will challenge what you say. They challenge me all the time, even though 98% of the time I'm totally right. Okay, based on my experience and my I'm gonna I'm gonna do what I heard he was mistreated back in the day at Top Flight at the Rose. That's what I heard too. That's why he's still mad at black people. I don't know. We didn't do it to you. We didn't do it to you. Okay. We just didn't do it to you. But anyway, we were just talking about. And again, I listen. as a black man, I am tired of people blaming a race card for everything. Also, but I'm not so stupid is that I don't that I'm going to deny the fact that a lot of people coming up in this country had to be black back in the day. Kids don't have anything. They were not left anything because they were denied opportunities. They just were. And anybody who says that's not true is a lie and the truth ain't with them. But can we use that in perpetuity? Can we use that in perpetuity as an excuse to fail? No, no, because there are people who came here from other places and are doing pretty decently because they're willing to put in the hard work and the sacrifice. Okay. Okay. So we can't always use those things to pass, but to deny it, to deny it, yeah, we got two faults here. We can lean so heavily on the past until we can't see the future. Okay. That's why I was glad Whitewater came because we could talk about something in Alabama. I think Don said he's about 72, 73 years old. Um, so I was glad to see Whitewater because I was sick and tired of hearing everything about the past, about what happened, what happened, what happened. But I don't deny it happened. But we do have, because of the sacrifices of those people, we have an obligation to do the best we can to take every opportunity legal that is given to us and make something out of it. And if we should not, that's fine. But we cannot blame other people. If you're my age, say I'm 68 years old. Um, so people my age and below, we've had some opportunity, and that doesn't mean that life has been fair to everybody because it hadn't been fair to me a couple of times, hadn't been fair to you a couple of times. Even rich people get screwed over sometimes. That is the circle of life, you know. But we cannot deny that there is a possibility that a lot of more black folks would have done better had they been given the same opportunities that white were given. Okay, at least I believe that with the every fervently heart firm in my body that a lot of black folks just deny it. They'll just deny it. Read a story the other day that some black folks ended up in the port of South Carolina. Broke my heart. That's why I don't like looking at those stories. 75 black folks, right before they got here, walked off a ship into the ocean to die rather than to be a slave. I 75 at one time, just right when they got to America. And I said, wow. I mean, that's tough. That's tough, but it was what it was. Don't know if I'd have did the same thing. I've been trying to catch a fish, not be food for the fish. But you know what? There's some people. Jet fuel literally sky high. Listen, and I hear what you're saying, but I'm with Trump on what he was trying to do over there. I am. I'm with him what he was trying to do. You give them people a nuclear bomb, and believe me, they will use it. They will use it. I realize the United States has been really the only place that has ever used it. But at that particular time in the 1940s, the Japanese were way beside themselves. Thought the emperor really thought he was the emperor of Japan. You know. So I'm just saying, we did use it, and we kill a lot of innocent people. As a matter of fact, the last count was 750,000 people directly or indirectly were harmed or killed by that atomic bomb. And atomic bombs don't hit the ground to blow. They don't. No. They disperse in the air, which actually has a more massive effect on things that it runs into. It was a terrible thing. Why we did it, and people say, "Well, y'all dropped one." Well, they did drop one, but we didn't start that fight. We didn't start that fight. We were minding our own business on the island of Oahu and Fort Island on December the 7th, 1941, and somebody came over here and and brought it to us. So I think we had an obligation as a nation. Now, still, they still treated a group of people pretty bad back in 1941. That's for true. But we still had an obligation to defend our homeland. Okay, defend our homeland. So I don't have a yeah, I don't have a I have a problem with us dropping it, but that was not my decision to make, and I think the president, who's president, was that who was president? Was that Truman or Eisenhower? Anyway, one of them. No, Eisenhower didn't come on the scene. All right then, let me see. My good friend Joe. Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
You actually touched on some interesting things this morning.
Hmm.
It's a rare bird for you. You must be ready for. You must be
Ready for the weekend?
hanging out because you're ready for. Well, I know you're always ready for the weekend. It's always the weekend for you.
Sort of, kind of.
Well, look, you touched on something. With this business with, Iran. If we're going to be in the business of regime changing, and going over and bombing countries who we say are threatening us, when are we going to North Korea?
We know that North Korea is mostly hyperbole. We know that, but we don't know.
That's right.
We don't know that with the Iran because they have killed their own people. So knowing that they killed their own people, they have no compunction whatsoever to drop a nuke on us.
The United States has done that.
And we're the only one, but we didn't do it without provocation.
I'm not saying drop it. Well, we already know who's going to drop the only nuclear weapon. We know that. I'm saying the United States has killed its own people.
I ain't talking.
There are many.
I ain't talking about death penalty, which I don't agree with the death penalty, but and
I'm not talking about the death penalty.
They've killed about.
I'm not talking about the death penalty.
They lately in the last few months and last year they killed about 35,000 people. Is my understanding of their own people.
And what business is that of ours?
I think it's a business of every human being when life is taken senselessly. You don't think we have an obligation to help those that are oppressed?
Kevin, we'd never stop. We don't have the manpower, woman power, or resources to police the entire world.
Well,
that's the problem. We got our own issues at home. There are plenty of times the United States. I mean, do we need to talk about the '60s? And that ain't been that long ago.
Well,
you talk about killing.
We wouldn't kill him. You talk about. I mean,
shoot.
Not that I know of.
Not that I know. When you start adding up lynchings, mass murders, you start looking at that's the killings in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
You think of the Jimmy Lee Jacksons. A lot of these were done by law enforcement individuals,
right.
Deputy sheriffs,
right?
Which is why they're constitutional officers now, so they're immune from suit. That was the whole point of that, because they were ringleaders of the Klan. A lot of them were. That's
true.
And they did a lot of killing.
But you don't think we're doing now, do you?
So we don't.
Yeah, you don't think we're doing that kind of thing, do you? Do you think we're doing that?
It depends. Is it as organized as it once was? No, I don't think so. Does it still happen? Yeah, we've seen that on TV. We saw that with George Floyd. We've seen that before. There are plenty of people who are shot.
Mm-hmm.
And race is a trigger for that stuff because they don't handle other folks that way. I always say when that little white kid killed all those folks in that church in South Carolina, when they finally caught him, they took him to get a hamburger. Before they took him to jail because he was hungry after committing a mass murder. And black folks don't get treatment like that. It just doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. I'll be the first to say, every time I told somebody the other day when they asked if they thought they had a case, and I told them, simply because your employer was white and you were black does not make a race discrimination case. You have to actually come to work on time. You cannot smart enough at your superiors. You have to perform work satisfactorily. And as long as they can point to those things and those things are true, none of that's going to matter. Now that being said, there are all those times which you mentioned earlier today, which is it's been difficult in this country not to get past that, because that reason has been a reason that we've been denied so many things solely on race, because that was the law of the land. Mm-hmm. There's a letter that I put on my Facebook page of a person who was going to Emory University. A letter was written back to him that said, "We are sorry to deny you entrance into Emory University because we cannot admit Don's favorite word, Negroes."
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They didn't say he wasn't qualified. They say he didn't pass any tests. They didn't do that. No, because it was black. That was it. Your chairman of the Joint Chiefs right now is a 3-star general. He wasn't qualified to be. Now, the president can have who he wants to have. I don't have any problem with that. President's prerogative. Have whoever you want to be your Joint Chief. Chair of the Joint Chiefs. I got no issue with that. This guy didn't have 3 stars when he picked him. They had to give him a star in order to qualify him. Gave him one. Now, how do you think all the other black folks and other white folks felt about that? So don't give me this crap about DEI. DEI. I mean, there's been DEI in this country since it got here, and the DEI was white supremacy. That was the ultimate DEI. When you elevate yourself because of the color of your skin, which is something no child can help, you don't control that. You're just born with it. You're graced here, and that's what poor whites were promised in this country. That no matter how bad your circumstances were, no matter how many times the wealthy white Americans, crapped on you, mistreated you, dogged you out, we're going to give you something, okay? That nobody can take away from you. You don't have to earn it. You're going to be born with it, and it's called white supremacy. So because of the fact that you'll be able to go places and do things,
but now,
no matter how little money you have, no matter how little education you have, against somebody who looks a little different than you.
Right, but let us also understand a basic, absolute fact here that we cannot deny. America was not made by black people. It was not made. It was not. Wait a minute. It was not made for black people.
We just built the damn thing.
It was made by white folks. The concept
we just built it on the backs of who? Native Americans and blacks.
Everybody. There's not a soul ever lived that made it to the top without stepping on the back of somebody.
Well, it's just that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right. It doesn't change anything. And because English was, keep in mind, Native Americans were already here.
Well, they came from someplace.
Well, yeah, here. Well, I suppose
no, they did not.
Millions of years ago, they probably, when the continents were still connected, they migrated. Kevin, you're reducing this. You're going too far now where you're being absurd with this.
No.
And I want you've been doing good today.
Would you? Wait a minute.
So we can't go back. We can't go back to who was here millions of years ago.
No. But if you built a house, you wouldn't turn around and give somebody else a key to it. Okay.
Not you built this. But if I built it with you, Kevin, I'm living in a house. Okay?
You were just
you're not paying for the car, Kevin. I'm driving it.
Wait a minute.
Okay,
you were just to help. You know your position.
No. No, see, you think that because you think that gives you a leg up. No.
We call
that sweat equity.
We would just help.
No.
That legal word wasn't around then. Sweat equity wasn't around in the 1700s and 1600s and in the early 1800s.
Kevin, that's
word.
Kevin, that's just flat out insulting.
You can say that. Flat out insulting. You can say it if you want to. It was what it was.
It was his column says more than help. I guess it says I suppose so, and I suppose that a wife helps her husband too. Okay.
Well, that's what
ones who take care of children.
She's supposed to be a helpmate.
The ones who run that. If you want to reduce it to a very low and common denominator, I suppose we're all help when it all comes down to it.
At some point,
what I noticed. What I also noticed is that nobody's talking about all these insider moves that are being made on this war. Okay, nobody's talking about that. These people are getting rich off inside information coming out of the Trump administration on what moves.
Well,
being made
I don't know if that's true or not. That you think the president's involved? When do you think the president's involved?
No question the president's involved. The president's a damn grifter.
Okay.
There's no question that the president is involved.
Then somebody ought to
sue the Oval Office.
Then somebody ought to sue everybody who's in charge of the Vietnam War, because we know lots of people got made and we lost.
I'm not talking about Vietnam.
Men.
I'm talking about I don't doubt you. And you can't sue them because it's probably all dead. So you're not getting anything out of that. I'm talking about what's going on right here, right now. There was a, I call it a bet, but they call it an investment, whatever you want to call it, that Maduro would get captured at a certain point in time, and somebody made $400,000 off of that. And you can pick this up on the internet. And the source has been verified.
And I really disagree with what we did in Argentina. I just thought that was way beyond our pay grade.
I think it's Venezuela.
Venezuela. Excuse me,
Well,
Venezuela. I just think we did wrong. That was a wrong move. And at some point in time, there's going to be repercussions. What they're going to look like, I don't know. Maybe somebody,
I agree with you about that.
but I
You just we just can't keep doing this stuff,
right.
and the world is not. We're not large enough that we can exist in this world by ourselves, pissing off all of our allies.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work that way. You can't expect you can't dog. And this thing about Trump's style, you can't dog out your friends, cuss your friends, talk about them, demean them, belittle them, and think they're going to help you. You're going to get a door slammed in your face, which is what's happening. And who knows the next terrorist attack that probably will happen, okay? Because these folks are just not going to take this land down. You better believe that.
And like I said,
Who
I'm
knows
waiting for
what-
the next shoe to fall. That's what I'm saying. Wait for the
Well, who knows? Who knows what intelligence is going to come by, which country, and their get back is going to be, we're not telling the U.S. what happened. We're just going to be quiet about it. And then who knows what mall gets blown up? Who knows what plane gets blown up?
That
Who knows what
worry me.
stadium gets blown up?
That's
On what college campus?
Yeah.
And you can't understand the behavior. We're watching the worst reality TV show. All right, that has real consequences right now. And Americans think this is some kind of a joke, and it is not. The president's attitude represents us when we go worldwide. And I've traveled outside the country, and when you say you American people look at you with a raised eyebrow, turn their noses up. And the first thing I say is I didn't vote for the guy. The first thing I say. If we sit here and we go through all these things, and people who've never been out of the country don't know that. Until you start moving around to see how the world views you, and you realize how big the world is. And it's bigger than Montgomery. It's bigger than Alabama. Atlanta's not a road trip. To say you've been to Birmingham, that's not a big deal. You go to Paris. You go to Brussels. You go to Berlin. You go to Tokyo. You go someplace like that and see how you're viewed. And it is not positive. And it's not positive because we got a president who is tearing down our institutions of government and sowing doubt and the very things that make a democracy work.
Well, we're not a democracy for what? First of all, let's not.
I know you always, Kevin. Okay, first of all,
we're not.
Get off that.
Okay.
Kevin, let's not have a semantic argument about a democracy and a republic.
No, but it makes a difference, though. It makes a difference.
Kevin, let me tell you what doesn't make a difference. So it doesn't make a difference. When you're the president of the United States,
right,
you do not undermine your institutions. Okay? You don't do that. Nobody has ever done that.
What of those institutions, and I've never seen institutions try to undermine the presidency either, but it has happened with Trump and the regular, the upsy-dupsy people out there who didn't like him because he wasn't part of their crew. So don't
Kevin, he's always been part of that. Listen, he's always been part of that crew. Don't get that twisted now. These billionaire folks sitting around here, unlike the people here in Alabama, which is crazy. Because I never thought that Southern country folks, Southern Alabamians, would sit there and bend the knee to a Northern Yankee. I never thought I'd see it happen. But Alabama folks can't get enough of Trump's New York Johnson.
But
they can't stroke it enough.
New York Johnson.
All right.
Listen.
To the point where there's a bill passed to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
And they're all proud about it. What about these rural hospitals that are out here that we don't have?
Well, why don't some of these rural places come up with the money for the
our
hospital?
accomplishments of that?
But why don't they got a lot of money? Why don't they come up with money for the hospital?
You have to ask your legislature that.
Exactly.
You
can't blame the president for that.
I'm not blaming the president for that. What I blame the president for is the division and the rhetoric that he uses. And when it blows back on
him first.
Well,
they use it against him first.
Kevin. One, that's not true. That's the first thing. The first F-bomb dropped by a president was Donald Trump.
Okay. So
let's not have that. Let's not do that.
Well, let's not be hypocritical here. We all use the F-bomb and the A-bomb and the B-bomb all the time, and you act like y'all so sensitive that you just now heard it from him and it's a big deal. It's not a big deal.
That's not it, Kevin. It's called decorum. What we want from our leaders is something to admire, something to aspire to be.
So our government
if I wanted our leaders.
What's it? Swalwell? What's it? Swalwell? One of those people who said, "Oh, the president's over in Russia being peed on by a Russian prostitute."
Who said this? Who said this?
One of those agencies with the dossier thing. They said he was working for Putin. I mean, all the things they said about that man had no basis in fact or truth. Just
Oh, that's not. Oh, that's one says no. That's
it
not. I don't believe
insulted
that.
me. He's the
One
president
says
of the United
I
States.
don't believe.
Now they want him to kowtow to other leaders when they didn't kowtow to him.
Well, I don't think. But listen to what you just said.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I know
What you just said doesn't make any sense. It's not about. It's how you conduct yourself. The man does not conduct himself with any measure of dignity. Okay, doesn't. Okay.
At least we know what
He's simply. Well, look. He's a bully. He always has been.
I like bullies.
He's a con. He's a con. We've always known that from the days of Trump University and Trump Steaks and Trump Airlines and bankrupt and casinos. We know he doesn't pay people. We know he's dishonest and disingenuous. The biggest lie he's ever told us.
I don't know that.
Was that.
No, I don't know that. I know people lie on you all the time when you're
truly
famous
do.
and you got money. People lie on you.
Kevin, they surely do. But if 400 people call you a jackass, I'm gonna throw a saddle on you because everybody ain't lying. Okay, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Well, maybe so. Again, when two elephants get to fighting in a room, I'm standing over in the corner out the way.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because people down here think Trump is going to be in office forever, and he's going to try to be, but it's not going to happen.
Nah, that ain't going to happen.
The question is going to be, what happens when the Democrat Trump shows up? All right, and let me give you a few things for thought here.
Yeah.
The Democrat president shows up and says, you know something? I don't like what you're doing down in Alabama. Y'all didn't vote for me anyway. Now I'm going to target you. Now keep this in mind. Alabama receives $2.10 for every $1 it sends. All right?
I hear you.
Now keep that in mind. So the president gets up here and says, I don't like what y'all are doing. Y'all didn't vote for me. You know, you don't have any DEI. I tell you what, you don't have any DEI. I'm going to pull these federal funds. Y'all want to put enough money in rural hospitals. I'm going to cut your money for health care.
But I thought I thought Obamacare took care of all the hospital things.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
So they took our money.
No.
And they lied to us. You can keep your doctor.
Kevin.
Wait a minute. You can keep your doctor. Healthcare has gone up
I'm talking
exponentially.
about two different things.
Well, no.
I'm talking about two different things.
Oh, okay then.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm saying is that you're putting a chief executive, and everyone's opening the door. I'm saying, what are you starting here? And what I'm saying is that if the chief executive is going to declare war on states, okay, and cities and states he does not like, okay, what's going to happen when that gun is pointed towards southern states? Okay, let me help you with this. All right, the biggest states that take the most federal money are red states, and most of them are in the South. Okay, the next president who started when the Democrats get in and they pass the Fair Tax Act. People say, what's the Fair Tax Act? Well, you know, you only want to be able to take out what you put in. We'll call it savings account. Okay. In other words, your blue states are not going to finance these red states down here.
Okay.
And their stuff.
Yeah. Well,
hold on, wait, I'm not done.
That's making my eyes glaze over.
No, don't make your eyes glaze over. Try to figure out where the taxes are going to come from to pay for these roads down here that you drive on. Okay.
It's going to come from us. It's going to come from us.
Then expect your taxes to double or triple, Kevin.
I know. You know,
the next chief executive is going to be slashing money because he doesn't like your governor.
Okay.
Okay.
1972, it came out that by the year 2000, we were going to be in an ice age in America. That's about how much credibility I give most of these hyperbolous things that you talk about. This is going to happen. I'm sorry. They've been saying that crap for years. And then at one point, toilet paper was bad to use. Okay. So you talk about things that have been said for years that never come true, that don't make no sense whatsoever. I'm going to sit around with a bag of popcorn here and see just how much of your prophecy comes true.
Well, I think it's going to depend on the individual. But my point was that you don't know who you're going to get. I don't know. You may actually get a person who wants to restore integrity back into the Justice Department.
Like who?
Because the Justice Department now, I'm gonna say this, I don't know who it'll be. We're a long way from that. I don't know who it's going to be. But the Justice Department right now has zero credibility.
Well,
Okay?
to black
I'm
folks, it didn't have a hell of a lot to begin with. Like
Well,
actually, Black
well, listen,
Panthers
I don't.
and all them folks who would get screw glued and tattooed. So Martin Luther
I'm
King,
not.
they were spying on him. So it ain't never had a hell of a lot of integrity.
That was it. That was the FBI, and that was the Hoover's direction. He
They're
ran it.
they're all the same family.
Now, I mean, look, I'm not saying they don't come from the same tree, Kevin, and I'm not going to say the Justice Department hasn't done a good job of doing things. I'm not going to say that again. I think the biggest problem we've got, and we've had our problems not been perfect.
I got some more calls, and I'll give you 20 minutes. So
What's going on? I'll call back.
Okay, I'll call back. Dr. Joe.
Elk Dog.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What did the Justice Department do to Trump?
Biden. Not much of anything.
Oh no, they indicted him on a bunch of bull crap. Or I can say bullshit on YouTube, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, and they said, like you said, they said he colluded with.
You're talking about what to the Justice? Okay, I got you.
All of that's the Justice Department.
Yeah.
And he was talking about white supremacy. How many white supremacists have killed black people in Montgomery lately? Huh?
Listen, you got a point there. I mean, I don't like white supremacy or black supremacy.
How many have killed black people in the whole state of Alabama, or for the whole nation?
I'm with you. I feel you.
Yeah, I mean, so, did the world respect us under Biden with him tripping and falling and stumbling over his words? Do you think they respected us under him?
No, I think they felt sorry for him.
Yeah, and I felt sorry for him too.
Yeah, I did too. But he just got old. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong. He just got old. That's all.
Yeah, and by the way, I thought Obamacare solved all our health care problems. You can keep you. Did he say Trump was a liar? I think he did, didn't he? You can keep your health care and your health insurance and your doctor. Who said that?
Wasn't that Obama?
Barack Hussein.
And said that our prices would go down and all.
Yeah, you'd save $2,500 a year. Have you saved your $2,500 a year?
All they have done is exponentially go up. I don't know how anybody's affording it.
And by the way, Mr. Reed is a lawyer, so he ought to know this. Being first, like he said, the tribal Americans were the first here in the United States, in America. Being first is not a point of law. You can't say, well, I was here first. That is not a point of law. And my ancestors immigrated here, and they were explorers. Okay? But anyway, by the way, who is killing other blacks today, Kevin?
We know the answer to that question. Unfortunately,
okay. You don't have to say it, do you?
Yeah. We know the answer.
And I'm sure that you told your son about who to watch out for. You didn't tell him to watch out for white supremacists. You told him to watch out for other blacks his age, because they'd be more likely the one to kill him, right?
Well, we've had those conversations, and I mean, that's the truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth.
Man.
And by the way, I was right with Mr. Nettles, who I respect, but I was right. The Bank of Hope was begun by Koreans. That William Bynum, or whoever he said, he is the CEO of the Hope Credit Union. The Hope Credit Union.
Yeah, that's credit. Yeah, that's credit union.
Not the Bank of Hope.
Because it used to be Liberty Bank. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Bank of Hope used to be Wilshire Bank at one time, and it was started in Los Angeles by Koreans. And by the way, you said that you didn't agree with Truman dropping the bomb. Well, my dad was in Europe, in the European theater.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who would have had to go fight in Japan if he had not dropped the bomb.
No,
My
I
dad
feel you.
would
I
have.
feel you. It was a tough decision to be made. It was one that was made.
Well, listen, it wasn't just made just to influence the Japanese. You know who else it was made to influence, don't you?
What, the Nazis?
We just beat the Nazis, son.
The Nazis. That was in World War II, wasn't it? Yeah.
We had defeated the Germans, and next we had to go to finish defeating who and drop the bomb on them? The Japanese.
Right.
But we had to make a major influence on the Russians to let them know.
Oh, the one Patton said we should just go on over there and get rid of.
Yeah, we could have gotten rid of them at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, just wanted to straighten your listeners out on some things.
Okay.
Thanks.
I appreciate you. Okay, Don, just go ahead and give me a call and come on back in. I got to get some more callers. Okay, there he is. Yes, Don.
Let me get this straight. The brother is worried about taxes. That's coming from the guy who wants to do the occupational tax at Montgomery, right?
Well, Joe don't want to do occupational tax.
He's worried about decorum. The last election, the Democrats was cussing everything because their handler said you need to cut. You remember that?
No, I don't remember anybody saying it, but I believe you.
You're not current on anything. And every president says Iran can't have a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Can't have a nuclear bomb. How did Obama take care of it? He put a damn plane with pallets of
money. Oh, that's true. That's what he
put
did.
over there in the dead of night. And they didn't even say they couldn't have a bomb. They said they couldn't have one for 10 years, and they kept on building the thing.
Now, aren't we?
What the Dow's doing today? You don't realize the Iranian Trump is so damn smart. And he put the blockade on the strait himself, and the Iranians were losing like $300 and something million a day, and now they're all for opening it up to everybody. Trump is more smarter than any of these suckers, and they just won't even give him credit. The Dow is flying up, and
I thought we were going to.
It's just pathetic. I just get so tired of Joe Jr.
Somebody said we were going to give. Somebody said we're going to give Iran $30 billion of their money in our care.
Who said it?
Well, it came off TV. I don't know if
no, it didn't. There's nothing to give Iran any money.
Okay, well, that's what I heard. Yeah.
I don't care what you heard.
Okay.
I mean, pull it up. Show me where that we're giving them $30 million of money.
Well, again,
anything.
I haven't seen it, but that's what they say.
That's ignorant. Whoever said that is ignorant.
Okay.
Maybe you probably misinterpret what it is. But Joe Jr.'s full of it. It's just so full of it.
Okay. Well, hey, appreciate it. Now, I'm gonna leave a little early today because I got to bring in this interview last night with Mr. KK Mitchell. So I'm going to leave a little early, but we'll be back in a little bit here, and it's going to be with him because it's a great interview, and I think you guys need to hear what he's got to say, and that's why I'm going to be doing all my interviews in the future, just at not what I'm. Anyway, I think you'll enjoy it. It's Friday, so anything goes on Friday. So give me about 10 or 15 minutes. So at 9 o'clock, I'm going to rerun his interview last night, yesterday afternoon. I think you guys will. KK Militant running for Senate on. I think it's only about 30-minute interview, something like that. But it's really good. Excuse me. It is Militant, KK Militant. It ain't KK Mitchell, is it? Nah, of course not. No, it's Middleton. Yeah, I think that's what it is anyway. I'm sure that's what it is. But anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes. So you guys hang loose. Well, I ain't going to be back, but he'll be back in a few minutes. So hang loose and we'll be back. Well, we won't be back, but next up is Mr. KK Middleton.